Since its start, the World Baseball Classic has been the best international baseball tournament, bringing together the best players from all over the world. After a 6-year break, the WBC will be held again in 2023. It was last held in 2006, 2009, 2013, and 2017. Over the years, the WBC has given us a lot of big-time performances, amazing comebacks, and shocking upsets, which has set a high standard for future versions. Here's a list of the best games in the history of the World Baseball Classic.
That ball is off the glove and into right field.
In the 2009 WBC final, Japan and South Korea played in front of 54,846 people at Dodger Stadium. It was a classic matchup. It was kind of a rubber match for the two countries. Japan beat Korea out of the WBC in 2006, and Korea got even by beating Japan in the semifinals of the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. Japan was 1 out away from winning in the bottom of the 9th inning, but Bum-ho Lee singled home the tying run against Yu Darvish, sending the game into extra innings. But in the top of the 10th, Ichiro Suzuki saved the day for Japan when he hit a single to center field with 2 outs and 2 strikes against him. This gave Japan its 2nd straight WBC title.
Still on the move, running out of room, and he makes
In a game that will be remembered for Adam Jones's famous catch that stopped Manny Machado from hitting a home run in the bottom of the 7th inning, the United States beat the Dominican Republic and got rid of the reigning WBC champions. Team USA fell behind 2-0 in the first inning, but tied the game in the 3rd and took a 4-2 lead in the 4th, when Giancarlo Stanton hit a 2-run homer at 117.3 miles per hour off the Western Metal Supply Co. building in left field at Petco Park. The loss to DR earlier in the tournament was still fresh in their minds. Machado started the bottom of the 7th with a deep fly ball that looked like it was going over the wall in right center field. However, Jones flew through the air and made an incredible catch, keeping Team USA's lead at 2 runs for a moment before Robinson Cano hit a solo home run to left. The US scored a run in the top of the 8th to make sure they would win, and they did. They went on to the semifinals and won the WBC title. A few days after Puerto Rico beat the US with the mercy rule, the two teams played each other again for a spot in the semifinals. When PR led 5-3 going into the 9th, it looked like they were going to win again. However, Team USA put together a thrilling comeback that ended with a walk-off.
And Hosmer has a base hit to right center.
2-run single from David Wright, who earned the nickname Captain America for his WBC performances in 2009 and 2013. Moving on, with a strong team led by MLB All-Stars like Robinson Cano, David Ortiz, and Hanley Ramirez, many people thought the Dominican Republic would win the WBC title in 2009. But the Netherlands made sure that the Dominican team didn't even make it out of the first round. After the Netherlands beat the DR 3-2 earlier in the first round, they played each other again in a game that was a win-or-go-home situation. For the first 10 innings, neither team scored. Jose Bautista broke the scoreless tie in the top of the 11th, but the Netherlands tied it up with an RBI single by Eugene Kingsale in the bottom of the inning, and won when DR first baseman Willie Ibar dropped a sharp grounder behind the bag.
And gets out Bertram quickly, but he makes the play.
Next up, Israel beat South Korea in a very close game in Seoul to start the 2017 World Baseball Classic. This was the biggest upset in the history of the WBC. The winning hit for Israel came from Scott Bertram with 2 outs in the top of the 10th, and Josh Zaid got the win by pitching 3 innings without giving up any runs. Israel beat Chinese Taipei and the Netherlands to move out of Pool A and into the 2nd round. In the 2nd round, Israel won its first game but then lost to the Netherlands, and Japan was eliminated. Next, in the 2017 semifinal, Puerto Rico beat the Netherlands.
As he avoids the tag.
And the call is overturned. Baez is safe.
Even though there were 11 innings in this game, the game turned for Puerto Rico in the first. In the first inning, the Netherlands jumped out to a 2-0 lead. But Puerto Rico's deficit could have been much bigger if catcher Yadier Molina hadn't thrown out 2 runners on the bases. The first out happened when Molina caught Andrelton Simmons going too far from second base. This started a rundown that ended when Simmons was tagged out between second and third. Jurickson Profar then hit a single to put runners on the corners with 1 out. As Profar celebrated his hit, Molina threw behind him at first base to get him off the bag. The Netherlands got on the board when the next batter, Vladimir Balentien, hit a 2-run homer. However, Puerto Rico quickly tied it up with a big fly from Carlos Correa in the bottom of the first. After 9 innings, the score was 3-3, and the game went into extra innings. In the 11th, Eddie Rosario hit a sacrifice fly to center field, which scored Correa and put Puerto Rico in the final. Another's when the Dominican Republic defeated the United States in the 2017 first round. Even though the second round game between these two teams was more important, this game is also worth watching. After falling behind 5-0, the DR came back to cut Team USA's lead to 2 runs. And Nelson Cruz's 3-run homer off Andrew Miller in the bottom of the 8th inning gave the DR the lead. The win, part of an undefeated opening round for the DR, made it clear the defending champs were going to be a tough out again. Next, this is the 3rd game on this list that involved the 2017 Dominican team. The final score doesn't tell the whole story, though George Alfaro's solo home run in the bottom of the 8th tied the game. Colombia was inches away from giving the DR its first WBC loss since the 2009 tournament, but Jose Bautista's accurate throw from left field and Wellington Castillo's quick tag at the plate stopped Oscar Mercado from scoring the game-winning run on a would-be sac fly in the bottom of the 9th. 2 innings later, the DR erupted for 7 runs to put Colombia away and earn its 11th straight WBC victory. After an early exit from the 2013 WBC due in part to a shocking loss to Italy in the first round, Mexico saw history repeat itself in the 2017 tournament, this time on its home turf. Mexico was playing Italy at Estadio de Béisbol Charros de Jalisco. In the bottom of the 9th, Mexico had a 9-5 lead but couldn't beat Italy. Italy came back to beat Mexico again with 5 runs, the last of which was a 2-run walk-off single by John Andrioli. Last but not least, Canada beat the United States in the first round of 2006. Even though Team USA was a big favorite, Canada beat them in the first round of the World Baseball Classic, even though most of their players were from the minor league. The Canadian team got out to an early 8-0 lead. Adam Stern drove in 4 of those runs with an inside-the-park home run in the 5th inning. The US scored 6 runs in the 5th inning when Jason Varitek hit a grand slam. However, the comeback attempt failed when Stern made a diving catch at the wall on Chase Utley's deep fly ball with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th. It's still one of the most surprising things to happen in a tournament. And that's it for a rundown of the best World Baseball Classic matches in history. Which game was your favorite? Did we miss any other exciting matches? Let us know in the comments below.